Hello everyone, welcome back. Okay, so today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make candy popcorn. What you'll need is bags for your popcorn, specifically sprinkles if you're using these cone bags. You'll need ribbon to make them extra pretty. You'll need light corn syrup, 2 sticks of butter. You can use salted or unsalted, your choice. Of course, you'll need sugar. Don't want my sugar. This is how you keep the ants out. And you'll need pre-pop popcorn. I have 2 bags of this, 2 bags. And last but not least, a pan to bake it in and a pot to cook it in at first. So first, for starters, what I like to do is I like to take my bags and I like to take my sprinkles. And what I like to do is I pour a couple sprinkles in, shake them to the bottom. And what this does for the cone bags is it helps, because when you put the popcorn in, it'll just go right here. It won't fill this little space in the bag up. So what you do is you put the sprinkles in. It makes it look better, very pretty. And it also fills that space. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna add sprinkles to all these. You don't need much. Just a good amount. And that should be enough. And you just shake your bag up and you set it aside. You gotta be careful with where you buy these bags from, because some of them are made with like different plastic, and what that does is it causes little holes to open up in the seam of the bag. So you have to pay attention to where you get your bag from. I got these in bulk off of Amazon, but they sell them at Hobby Lobby. They sell them at Walmart. Also at Michael's. I'm pretty sure Party City has them. So yeah, what we do is we fill all these bags with our sprinkles. We push them to the bottom. And also, one thing we're going to need that I forgot to mention is icing color. So I'll be going with these 2 colors since that's why we're doing the bottom gold. But I'll be going with burgundy and rose. The colors were naturally supposed to be burgundy and gold. But I had to write the client like, hey, you wanna add a popping color? It's better for me, it's better for the look. But yes, you could get these, Party City, Walmart, Michael's. These ones are specifically from Hobby Lobby. They're $1.99. These are about $4 or $5. But you can get those ones in the round one almost anywhere. I specifically prefer these due to the simple fact that you don't need anything to add your color in. With these, you need like a butter knife to add the color in. With these, you just squeeze. You'll also need some white. I'm gonna show you guys what that looks like. You'll need the white so that your color is bold instead of like transparent. So, making a mess with these sprinkles here. So now that all of these are filled, I'm gonna set these aside until it's time to fill them with popcorn. Okay, so before we do anything, we're gonna take our popcorn. And I get this popcorn from the dollar store, $1.25. It's already pre-popped. It's not much work. It's very cheap and it's very good popcorn. So we're gonna pour our popcorn into here. And I'm using one large popcorn bucket and a small one. For this large one, I'm gonna do burgundy because I want majority of the color to be burgundy. So for our second one, we're not gonna do much, but we're gonna do a good amount. You just add that in. You don't need too much. You can put a silicone mat under here, but I find that it works much better without one when you're mixing it in, trying to get the popcorn fully coated. So as for our second one, we're just gonna add about this much, and this will be our rose colored popcorn. All right. So now I'm gonna take you guys to the stove. If you guys hear any noise, that's my oven. So what I did is I preheated my oven. You want to put your oven on 250 for this specifically. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our butter, add it to our pan. Let it melt in there. So this recipe requires 1 stick of butter, 1 cup of sugar, and 1 stick of butter, 1 cup of sugar, and a half cup of Cairo syrup, like corn syrup. So what we did was we put the oven on and we put it on medium. We put it on 4. So what we're going to do is we're going to let this butter melt. We're going to add our sugar. Since we have 2 sticks of butter in here, we're going to add 2 cups of sugar, and we're going to add a full cup of light corn syrup. You want to make sure that this is fully melted before you add the sugar in. We also have some vanilla because we can't forget our flavoring. And if you don't want to use vanilla per your customer's request, you can add in a half of a flavor drown. These things are pretty strong. So again, you're gonna let this melt. You can kind of give it a stir, and you want to use a big pot for this because you have to give it room to boil. So once we get this started, we're gonna get our 2 cups of sugar in here. Okay, while this is gonna finish melting, I'm gonna get my sugar ready. So for this, I need 2 cups of sugar. Okay, you don't want to have your butter on too high because your butter is gonna brown so fast and it will burn. So now that this is fairly melted, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our 2 cups of sugar, pour that in. We're gonna take our 1 cup of Cairo syrup. I'll make sure you get all of this out of here. And the reason I doubled up this recipe is because I like my popcorn to be fully coated. I was doing 1.5 stick of butter and going based off the recipe like that. But I find a lot of times I don't get like a really full coat. So I just started going with the 2 cups of sugar, 2 sticks of butter, and a full cup of Cairo. Okay, so you want to mix this really, really good. Once you get this all the way mixed in, try and get it mixed in really, really well. Because after you mix it in, we're gonna add some vanilla to this, and then we're gonna remix. So we take our vanilla. Okay, this one's not open. Take our vanilla. You put a good amount. That's the part that I hate. It always drips. Okay, so you want to mix your vanilla in really well. This gives it a good flavor. And you kind of just eyeball it. You see how it's sitting on top with the butter. Make sure it's mixed in really well. And then you let it sit. You stop stirring. You don't stir anymore. You're gonna let this sit. And then you are going to let this cook. And once it starts to boil, that's when you put your timer on for 5 minutes. And you let the mix boil for 5 minutes straight, no stirring. Alright guys, this is what the boil starts to look like. So it's been boiling, it just started. So we're gonna let this boil for 5 minutes. Everyone, this is what it will look like after it's been boiling for 5 minutes. You cut your fire off, you then give it a stir. And this is how thick it should look. Now what we're going to do is add our white. It should make the base of this look white enough to take any color, even with the brown vanilla added. So that looks great. So when I'm doing more than one color, what I like to do is I like to take a second container. We're gonna leave this color in the pot, but we're gonna take this color. I'll put this right here for you guys to see more. So we're gonna set that right there. This is fully mixed. We're gonna take a small amount for our rose color that we're doing. And that should be enough. I'll give that a little shake. It's gonna melt down the pot. So you just wanna give it a quick wipe. Alright, so for this, what we're gonna do is We take our rose color, we open it up. And this is what I meant about needing a butter knife for these ones, guys. You want to scoop out a really good amount. A really good amount. That looks good. Start to mix in. We don't want it too dark, but it will lighten up once you mix it with everything. It'll lighten up, so that's pretty much okay too. So now just want to mix really, really good. I'm gonna do a second thought, and we're gonna add more, because that is not enough. We're gonna add a little bit more. Alright, and we're gonna mix that really well. Now what we're gonna do, we're gonna take this popcorn, we're gonna pour pretty much all over. And at first it will not mix completely right until you put it in the oven and it pretty much loosens up. So we're gonna try to mix this in as best as we can. Again, it will loosen up once it's in the oven. So if everything is not fully coated right now, don't stress. So you want to just kind of get this off the spoon without burning your hand. Okay, so now we put this in the oven. For our burgundy, what we're gonna do, seems like this is too much. I'll mix it a little bit more, just a tad bit, just in case, y'all. Okay, so what we're gonna do with this, take a toothpick, punch a hole in there. That's 4 drops. We'll see if that's enough. You pretty much want this to be as dark as possible, because, okay, this burgundy is a little more purplish. So we are going to use our other one, which is strictly burgundy. take this, we're gonna add in from here. And that's probably enough. Kind of scrape the coloring like that. Because now it's purplish looking. Okay, so I pretty much feel like I should add more. But I'm not sure. I don't want it to be too dark or too bold, but it will lighten up in the oven. So I'm gonna add more. So we're gonna do this one more time to add a little more color in here. Alright, so we are going to consider ourselves done adding coloring. Once we get everything mixed in, I still feel like this is like a purple, so I want to add a little bit of brown. A small amount of brown. So we're going to take a little brown, just a little, and mix that in also. Okay, we're going to heat this back up just a little. Take our big pan, we pour our burgundy over. And mix this in really, really good. And after you add the popcorn in to the pan is really cold, so it's gonna dry fast, but as I said, it will loosen in the oven. But after you add the popcorn to the oven, you want to let it cook for 15 minutes. Then you want to take it out, mix it in, and pop it back in for 15 more minutes. And then it should be complete. So this is the part I hate, guys. I absolutely don't like making popcorn. So just kind of mix that and flatten it well. And be careful because this stuff is really hot. Anything that you boil with sugar will burn you in ways that you never imagined. So I'm gonna put this in the oven because it's really hard to mix right now. Put this in the oven for 15 minutes and then I'll mix again and I'll show you how easier it is to mix after it's been in the oven for 15 minutes. So we'll be right back. Alright, we're back after 15 minutes with our pink popcorn. And you want to just give it a quick stir. You see how much easier it is to mix once it's been sitting in the oven, so a lot easier. I actually intended for the color to be lighter than this. It's absolutely fine. That's why we did a small batch of pink. I really didn't even want to use pink for the popcorn. So we're gonna see how everything looks when everything is done. Again, you just try to mix it as much as you can. Try and get everything mixed in until you're back. Mixing again after 15 minutes. So now that we gave that a good stir, we're gonna put it back in for 15 more minutes. We want to pretty much cook it until there's no puddle at the bottom of the pan. So we'll push that back down and we'll put it back in. And I'll see you guys once it's time to stir our burgundy popcorn. And yeah. Here we are for the mixing of our burgundy popcorn. You want to hold on to the pan. Ouch. You want to hold on to the pan and give it a really, really good stir. This has been in the oven for 15 minutes. Didn't I say it'll be so much easier to stir once it's set in the oven? So you just stir that in really well. You're gonna lose a couple popcorn along the way. That's absolutely fine. For this, I feel like I don't charge enough. This is so much work. It is so many dishes. And the best part about this is the popcorn does not get soggy at all. So you want to mix pretty well. Again, just like we did with our pink. Mix really, really well. See, this one has a larger puddle than our pink one because this one had more milk since it was larger. I really don't know how to separate the two correctly yet when I'm doing multiple colors. I just eyeball everything. So, and if you don't get a chance to get everything fully mixed in the first time, that's completely fine. Because again, like I said, we will mix again after another 15 minutes. So we're gonna pop this back in the oven. And again, our oven is heated to 250. So we're gonna pop this back in and we will be back after 15 minutes. Alright, so now we have taken our popcorn out because it's drying up. As you can see, I have on gloves now, and I'm ready to separate. So now, these gloves do not fully protect you, but you want to be quick. I have 2 bowls right here. So we're going to just pick them up. You do this to separate them so they're not all stuck in a ball. Separate a little bit into each bowl to give it enough time to dry. Cool down. gotta move fast. This is real. Stick to the pan. Once it starts to hit the air, it seems like it just starts to dry so fast. Sometimes it's unbelievable how fast this stuff dries. And you know, this stuff is hot. That's why I feel like if you're going to sell candy popcorn, you charge more if you add in multiple colors. You charge more just because of the simple fact of how much work it is, how much you have to clean up. I feel like these should go $50 a dozen or more. Right now I'm charging $45, but my prices are changing since it's January. Just gonna continue to do this, and we're gonna get ready to cut our burgundy out in a second. I really wanted to use a really minimal amount of pink, so I'm not going to use much of this pink. You're going to see like the smallest amount of this in my bags because I actually intended for it to be lighter. Sometimes if you add too little color and then you end up mixing it in the oven, it gets really light. So sometimes you have to add enough color to where your color is bold. But I want it really light. I should have stayed close to white for this specific thing. That was my mistake. As it's set and cool, it will clump together a little bit, and then you just gotta and it'll separate right back up. So we're gonna put this back aside, and we're gonna get our burgundy, and we'll be right back. Here's our burgundy. I'll mix it in one more time, and our burgundy is really still full of candy. It didn't dry out much. Again, we're gonna try and mix it in really fast, and we're gonna pop this one back in the oven for, let's say, probably about another. Oh, and your gloves will get very sticky. I use these specifically to make this because the color gets everywhere. So you mix in really well. It's drying out pretty good. You probably don't have to pop it back in the oven. You're gonna have to go off of what you feel. Probably don't have to pop it back in the oven. So again, I'm gonna take this, drop it in with the other. Gotta move fast with this stuff. Pretty much use this. It's hot. Trying to get it out as quick as possible. It will stick to the pan. It's okay if you lose a little, guys. So, hot. This stuff will burn. Try and get as much as you can out as quickly as possible. And if it sticks, you can always pop it back in the oven to loosen it up. This back in the oven to get the rest out. And you want to be careful. So we use very minimal amount of paint. I feel like my burgundy still came out purple looking. It looks like a plum purple, but then again, it's all just pretty confusing. So for this part right here, back and forth. Again, this is something that you gotta move very quick with it, so you are gonna lose a lot of popcorn. Yep, there goes another one. But this is more than enough. This is gonna be more than enough to fill up my bags and still have some left over. So I really don't even need that, but I am gonna put it back in the oven so that I could get it out because my mom loves to eat this stuff. I don't know how it's too much for my teeth. It just gets stuck in your teeth and I don't like that. So we're gonna let this cool and then we'll be back for bagging right after this has cooled for a good 15 to 30 minutes. Gotta make sure it's not gonna stick inside the bags. So we let it air dry. And we'll be right back. Here's our finishing product. Again, if you hear noise in the background, that is from my oven. It has to take its time to cut off. So we have our 2 buckets of popcorn. And now we fill. So we take. Too much. About right there is fine. So after you do that, this is how it is. You kind of want to move this around so the smaller pieces can go to the bottom. You bunch this up. You take a bowl. One more time. You take this, And you guys, I make these bows myself. If you would like to see how, comment below. Alright, so we twist that on. And this is what she looks like. I am going to clip that little piece off the end of my bow. But I do want to show you guys the look of each one. The different color variation of bows. Again, you don't want to fill it too much. You want to make sure you have the front. You don't want to put it right here. Put your tie on here, and the seam is there. So you want to make sure you're putting it on the front. Take your bow. You gotta watch out for this one because this one has glitter. Kind of just grab it and twist. And this is how it's looking with the gold bow. That's with the burgundy. And I want to show you guys the last one. And this that I'm scooping it with is just an ice scooper. It's just at Dollar Tree. It prevents, like, if you touching the popcorn, like putting it in with your hand and trying to bag it, it'll make your bags all greasy. So this is what I'm scooping with. And this is our pink bow. And this is how it's looking with the light pink bow. As you can see, that's why I wanted my pink popcorn to be really lighter than what it is. But here it is with the 3 different color bows. This is how it's looking, and I love it. I think I like the gold bow and the burgundy bow more, but we're trying to incorporate pink in this so that the colors are not so bland. So yeah, that's about it, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on your post notification bells. I do plan to upload a lot more than I am uploading now. Don't forget to share, send a friend here if they need a little help. And that's it. Thank you guys for watching my video, and until next time, see ya.